All right, so today Brendan and I started the session with a little bit of moonboarding. The point of the moonboarding today was to recognize weaknesses that I still have post-surgery. Obviously, each week I'm getting a little bit stronger, but there are still certain muscle groups that are not activating like they should be and have been really turned off for a very long time prior to the surgery because of the nerve impingement. The moonboard has been such a great tool for working on my strengths and weaknesses through this recovery process. I love that I can try boulders that I tried pre-surgery, boulders that I tried when I was at peak strength pre-surgery, etc. And so Brendan and I have really been utilizing the moonboard a lot to figure out where I need to work on the strengths and weaknesses the most, and be able to figure out workouts that are going to focus on those specific areas. Each moonboard session is definitely feeling a little bit better as I start to get my pull through strength a bit more on that right hand side. But what's amazing about the moonboard is just that it is very finger strength oriented, but also too very power oriented, and requires a lot of pull through strength, which is really what I'm going to have to gain back if I want to climb 100%. After seeing me moonboard, Brendan has a couple of really great exercises that he wants to show me and have me work on over the coming weeks to try and reactivate those muscles and get them working as well as they are on the left side.
Yep, so there are two specific movements today that we found that were really difficult for Paul to feel like he could engage that right shoulder. And what we're really seeing from those are going to be that we want to add a couple things to our agenda today. So our agenda is going to be to retest a max campus pull-through, 1.5 max pull-through, so we'll reassess that. Today is also going to be the day where we move from regular pull-ups to see, just get an idea of where your weighted pull-ups are. And then because of what we saw on the moonboard, we're going to add in some horizontal rowing. And then we're also going to look for some other ways to activate his lat, particularly wide shouldery moves, pulling down or adducting like that. So our goal is going to be to hit those 4 exercises today and see what we can do.
Cool. And just to give you guys an idea, pre-surgery on the left-hand side, I could do pre-injury, I could do 1.5 8.5 with the left hand high first, and at my absolute best I could sometimes do 1.5 8.5 with the right hand first, but it was more consistently right around that 1.5 8 area. So it'll be interesting to see where we're at there. And then in terms of a weighted pull-up, my max weighted pull-up ever was right around 100 pounds added on top of body weight. So I was pretty surprised. 1.5 8.5 felt pretty good. It was difficult, more difficult than it has been in the past, but it felt good. Here, I really had no idea where I was going to be. At least I could pull through on the right arm. First try was 1.57, and then I tried for 1.57.5 and nearly succeeded. I started the weight up pull-ups with 55 pounds, felt fine, bumped it up to 70 pounds, which felt quite a lot harder, and then finally we went to 80 pounds. That was the absolute max that I could do. Barely got 80, so there's a lot of room for improvement here with this workout. Brendan picked the part of the pull-up that was most difficult for me, right around that 90-degree angle. So what he wanted to do here was to create as much time under tension as possible. So I held that position, made sure to keep my feet forward to engage the core, and kept at that 90 so that we were engaging that lat and bicep as much as possible.
So for your pull through, we've noticed the reason that we're not going to we're training your weaker position with both arms so that they can help each other out in a closed circuit. But since you seem to be stronger, we're actually going to do this unilaterally. So bilaterally, both arms at the same time, unilaterally, we're gonna train the stronger part of your pull-up motion, 90 degrees. We're gonna go ahead and do this one side at a time or unilaterally. Okay, so what we're looking for is a neutral shoulder position, elbow pointing in front of the body, hand facing across the midline. And it's going to be really similar to the other ones where we're going to force you to engage into the shoulder first, brace the core, and then lift the foot off the box. Wow, that was actually pretty good.
Close.
But I would say that we'll want to, I can add in like assistance. Not very much, like we don't need very much, but just to give you a little bit more time. And remember, I want you to be thinking about this as not like a workout, and more like I just need my brain to have a little bit more time to build this relationship with it. 10. Okay, so one of the moves that we saw on the moon board that Paul's having trouble with was a vertical or near vertical pinch, pulling in, and then being able to pull the body over or shift weight onto that pinch to be able to go with the opposite hand. So what we're gonna rig up here is a simple banded row, and what we'll notice is a low anchor point, and we're going with a low anchor point because we want a very specific direction of his row, and we want that to be at a downward angle. The other thing is that I've attached this ring as a handle, but really the handle is kind of optional. It's just to make it a little more comfortable for him. So from a seated position, we want that band in the midline, so right in front of the belly button. What we're gonna look for is to incorporate a little bit of a twist. So the palm starts facing down, and then as he rows, I'm gonna cue him to finish with the palm either facing completely up or just a little bit. But either way, we're getting a little bit of a corkscrew motion. So we're pulling out of the socket a little bit to get a stretch, pull and twist. Now the one final little bonus cue is that if we get his left foot to go out, as he pulls, we're gonna cue him to shift weight onto the left foot, and that way the core will functionally play a small role so that it understands when he pulls, it is pulling in order to push harder into the foothold. So left foot kicked out, right palm facing down, pull, make that foot heavier as you pull, finish with the palm facing up. We're looking for him to feel a lat flare underneath the armpit, so the opposite hand, if he's not sure, can come across, and that way, pull, left foot heavy, and then you'll pause here until you can feel, there we go, feel that lat tighten down. Stretch here. And get ready, don't forget to pull. As you pull and twist, yep. There we go. Now you're checking, can you feel that? Try pressing that down away from, there we go. Okay, yep, and then let's stretch. And now, I'm just going to put in here so you can feel it, right? Good, connect it, press into the toe so you can feel that. Excellent. Yeah. Ooh, there we go. Exactly. Here. Yes, and now, bam, and push. Those are the 3 dots.
Once I could feel the lat engagement, I could really see the benefit from this exercise. It's been really tough to get lat engagement on that right-hand side, so the small amount that we've been able to get with these exercises has been really helpful in gaining strength in the right lat post-surgery.
More about what that said. There, now shift it onto this foot until you get that smear feeling I'm talking about, and that's where you're holding. No, that's where you're holding. So you're connecting. You're holding there. 10 more seconds. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly shift back and then release tension. Yes. Yep. Shift while you're there, yeah, you can play with front back until you get into a good stable body position, and it's all going to be based on how that foot feels. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, hands out, 2, 1, good. And
thanks so much for following along on the road to recovery. This workout is just one of many that Brendan and I have been working on to get myself back up to max strength again. It feels really good to be able to get more of that lat and bicep engagement recently. I know there's still a very, very long way to go until I'll be at 100% again on that right side, and even 100% again on the left side after so much time off from climbing. But I'm really excited, and I'm really excited to keep training, but also to get outside more. I think the possibility of climbing something at my limit or close to my limit, start working towards V13, V14, I think it's going to start to become really possible soon, and I have my eyes on a couple lines. So once the weather in Colorado starts to get a bit better, I am going to be getting outside a bit more and definitely documenting that process in hopes of capturing the firsts of each grade post-surgery. So thank you all so much for following along, and thanks for subscribing to the channel.